I brought you something close to me.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go.
Hello there, welcome to Things in Chuck's House. And what we have here is a set of Matchbox toys. These are actually models from a television series for kids from back in the 1960s called Thunderbirds. This was a British television series created by a couple there, Jerry and Sylvia Anderson, back in, I guess, the early to mid 60s. I was actually a little too young for these, to see the series, when it was new, but I did see it in reruns, and I thought it was just the coolest show. It was kind of hokey, but the futuristic technology displayed was just really cool. There was, action and explosions and disasters and even espionage and things like that that were all part of the series. And it was just so much fun for a little kid like myself. As you saw in the intro there, this was not an animated series. These were models and marionettes. The characters were a family of basically the children of a multi-millionaire guy named Jeff Tracy. Jeff Tracy was the originator of the Thunderbirds themselves, and the group that they were part of was called International Rescue. So they would, rescue people using high-tech methods, and it was just kind of this neat show. I actually have a book here that kind of explains the history of Thunderbirds and all that sort of stuff. So let me back up the camera a bit just so you can take a look at this stuff here. As you can see, there's Jeff Tracy in the middle and his 5 sons. And what they did was Jeff Tracy here has this island in the middle of nowhere that he created this secret base where they can put all this super high-tech stuff to help rescue people. And he had his 5 sons. I guess he was widowed, so his mother lived there as well, but no wife. And also, there was always as all these TV series have, they have to have their smart guy, who is this guy here named Brains. They had to have the pretty girl, so she was an assistant there, and her name was Tintin. And then he even had a spy, and the spy was this woman named Lady Penelope. And she was this British lady who was in British high society. She had a limo, super high-tech limo, and she did all these secret missions for the Thunderbirds as well. And let me see if I can find the little bit about Lady Penelope here. Here's Lady Penelope. And then she had a limo driver by the name of Aloysius Parker, who went by the name of Parker. So let's go ahead and get to these toys themselves. This, of course, was supposed to take place in, I think, the year 2065. So everything was super high tech and, like I said, futuristic and all that sort of stuff. And each Thunderbird was numbered, of course, as you can see there. And each one had its own pilot. So let's start from the left with Thunderbird 1. Now the pilot of this one was Scott Tracy. And here's a picture of it here in the from the series. It's got these long landing legs so it can land horizontally, but it took off vertically actually. If you can see here, the supposed dimensions are it's 115 feet long, has a wingspan of 80 feet, and has a max speed of 15,000 miles an hour. And the neat thing about this plane or rocket or whatever you want to call it is that in order to reach that 15,000 miles an hour, it used its nuclear rocket here, and it used these wings to fly in the atmosphere, but then it was also able to sweep the wings back, which was very high technology for back when this plane or model of the plane, I should say, was made, because there were no actual operational aircraft in the world that had swing wings like that. So they were way ahead of their time. Now the second one here is this green guy, and it is Thunderbird 2. And this is sort of the workhorse of the Thunderbirds because it's the one that does all the hauling. And this one is piloted by Virgil Tracy. And as you can see, here's another picture of it from the show, and you can see here that it's 250 feet long, carries 100 tons of payload, and has a top speed of 5,000 miles an hour. And it's got gas turbine engines, turbo ram cruise engines, and also has vertical takeoff. Now, how did Thunderbird 2 work? Well, Thunderbird 2 like I said, hauled the payloads, and here's how they did it. With this little model here, you can see that it has buttons on the top, and these two buttons extend the legs right here so it can stand up, and then it has these various payload modules that it loads prior to the mission, and these are supposed to drop down by cable onto the ground, and then of course Thunderbird 2 would lift off and then leave the mission module behind. And one of the things that they used to haul was this little mini submarine called Thunderbird 4. So let's go ahead and get to Thunderbird 4 here. Now this again was a mini sub, and it was piloted by Gordon Tracy, and it has a length of 30 feet, a speed underwater of 160 knots, which would be about 200 miles an hour, which I don't think I'd be brave enough to do underwater. I don't want to run into a whale or something. And it can go down to 30,000 feet, as you can see here, according to the little book here. And it just fit inside the little mission module of Thunderbird 2. Okay, and the next Thunderbird is Thunderbird 3. Thunderbird 3, piloted by Alan Tracy. And if I remember, Alan Tracy had a little thing for Tintin there. And there is Thunderbird 3, and you can see its ion drive and also chemical rockets that are used for launch to a top speed of unknown, because it just says it has unlimited range and an atomic fusion reactor, but it has 4.5 million pounds of thrust, which for something that's 287 feet long and weighs 562 tons is a lot. That's almost as much as Saturn V rocket. So then we've got Thunderbird 3, and then you'll notice, of course, the little pink car in the back, which is quite out of scale to the rest, because if it were to scale, it would be smaller than Thunderbird 4 there. And this thing is called Fab 1. Now, Fab 1 is the car driven by, as I mentioned earlier, Parker, and he would drive around Lady Penelope, and you can see here that it is a Rolls Royce with 4 wheels in the front and bubble canopy, which makes it actually a submarine. I think it is actually can either float like a boat and go along the surface of the water, or it's actually a submarine. I can't recall. And it has a top speed of over 200 miles an hour, and it's this lovely pink color here. So this is a pretty nifty little set of toys here. I actually got this at an estate sale a number of years ago, and I just thought it was the neatest thing to get these things. I was so happy that they even made models of these, so I had to snap it up. I snap them up right away. It just brings back some great memories of my childhood. So anyway, these are some more things in my house. I hope you enjoyed that look at these little toys, and you have yourself a great day.